Hello and welcome to the very first installment of our first review of
Welcome to Couch Talk, everybody. Let us introduce ourselves. First,
My name is Dan.
I'm Stuttering Chuck,
and I'm Rick James, bitch.
and this is the first full review of Couch Talk.
And what are we gonna be reviewing today, guys?
Why don't you tell the audience?
Tell the audience.
Today we will be talking a little bit about Destiny.
Sweet Destiny, ever changing,
Ever
ever repetitive.
disappointing.
No.
We don't mean your Destiny, we mean the game.
We mean our destiny. Our destiny.
Talk about their destiny. Your destiny looks awful.
And disappointing.
The criteria that we use for reviewing our games is fairly simple. First, we take a look at the story. Then we look at gameplay. And then finally, we look at the overall experience of the game. And with the overall experience, we're going to include in it whether or not you should buy the game, wait, maybe never buy the game, because we don't like. I don't believe in a number system.
What do you mean?
I don't like saying.
Oh,
7 out of 10!
8.6! 8.65!
GameSpot, 10 out of 10, best game NA. No contest, best game ever.
Like Skyrim with guns. Skyrim with guns.
How many times have you heard that in a review? Far Cry 3,
Like
Skyrim with guns. Mass Effect 3,
Like
Skyrim with guns. Oh, but it's third person. You can be third person in Skyrim. Alright,
Compared to Skyrim.
without further ado, let's begin our Destiny review. Alright, starting with the Destiny review, we are first going to be talking about the most underwhelming part of the game, I would say, which is the story portion of the game. So how do things start off with Destiny?
Well, it starts out with a really good cutscene. It starts out, the first men walk on Mars. They got these assault rifles.
They have assault rifles for
What's
some
that? Like they expect to see aliens on Mars or something, and they're walking around with assault rifles and look badass. And then they go up this hill and just see this big ball of we don't know what.
Yeah, there was like 75 different languages that like ran across.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them said anything. I don't even know if they could have said anything. Could have been just like, you're on Mars. It's like,
yeah,
cool.
Had a great
I just
time.
Yeah, my thing is like, why they bring guns? Why assault rifles?
I don't know.
I
kind of thought that
you're going to Mars, you're gonna need this M4 carbine. And all three of them have it. Like, what do you think one of them would have like a radio thing or something?
No.
But yeah. So this giant orb that they stumble upon is actually this thing called the Traveler. And as far as the Traveler goes, all we really know is that it came to Earth from deep space, and it gives humans.
It gave us a time period of wealth, of intellect. It made Mars and Venus and Mercury all
Habitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like in the story behind that seemed cool.
Yeah,
except that's all. Like, no spoiler alert or anything. That's all you ever know.
The opening cutscene is as deep as the story is.
Well, I mean, there's some stuff that like starts to arrive,
like the big picture of the Traveler and the
darkness.
Yeah. The opening cutscene is as deep as that gets.
And you have the speaker who's like, many years ago.
I could tell you what happened.
Oh, what the? I could. We're not going to talk about that yet. So yeah, you enter in after this cutscene where they kind of describe the Traveler and his significance, and this ghost, as they call them, they're these little mechanical balls that the Traveler makes, I think. He makes them.
He spawned them in his last...
Before he's just
Dying
decided,
light,
before he just decided to hang in low Earth orbit and just be like, yeah, just do whatever. Yeah, this ghost, I guess, finds your skeleton. I think that's what you're led to believe, is that it's in a car and it's your skeleton.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, I think that's why I chose it. And then he scans you and he's like, oh man, I've been looking for you for a very, very long time. It's just like, I'm just like, okay. And then you just materialize.
Yeah.
And you're alive.
Up.
And that's it. You're like...
It makes me wonder, why do they need you? If they can just respawn endlessly, why do they need you? Why are you so important?
You were the skeleton in the SUV.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You were the guy in the car.
Why are they even fighting these things if you can just respawn?
But like Peter Dinklage, who voices the ghosts,
I actually enjoyed his.
I like his voice acting.
Yeah.
It was very underwhelming at times because
because
the dialogue and stuff. This door has been closed for 6 million years. I will now attempt to open it while triggering every alarm system that's ever existed. And it's just like, oh.
And if the door hasn't been open for 6 million years, how is there an alarm system to it?
That's like what he says, like this hasn't been open for a very long time. It's like, okay.
No,
there could be a bomb going on.
Yeah.
And still just...
Yeah, oh yeah.
Get out of here now. Unless you want to die.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you open the door, and then he's just like...
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, you open the door, and you're like, sweet, alright, progress. And then he's like, oh, by the way, there's about 50,000 people coming your way. I called them. I was like, hey, I'm coming in.
And guess what? That is every mission in the game that we just described.
We're getting to... Well, story mode, yeah. That does
every
apply to the story.
in the game, you have to open a door that hasn't been opened in millennia while you fight off waves of enemies.
It's horde mode, and it's been described in other reviews as that. And I'm not like just trying to like be like, yeah, it's horde mode because that's what everybody says. It's literally like that. Like it is literally. You open door. Peter Dinklage spouts exposition at you. This is the door of the people who came to Earth first before the great falling and the collapse of the second star. And you're like, awesome, dude! It's a freaking door. Like it's sweet. But yeah, and it's just like that's how the story goes, and you don't learn much at all. Like after you're done with your first run around in the opening mission, and you acclimate yourself, you get your ship that doesn't serve any purpose at all. You go back to the speaker, and you're like, there's this awesome cutscene. You kind of see the Traveler off in the distance. The speaker's like, oh, you know, we're glad you're back and everything. It's like, oh, sweet, awesome. But his explanation of what happened is, I could tell you what happened.
But there's no point in me telling you what happened, because...
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. There is one mission that stands out that is not like any of the other missions.
Which one is that?
The one with the sword.
Yeah.
The one with the sword. It's freaking awesome.
It has context to it.
You go... It's on the moon, you go in this temple... Where these
Temple of Crota.
Where these three princes are, and you have to kill them with this sword that destroys everything.
It's awesome. It's really cool, and it feels like, wow, I'm immersed in the game because they're telling me stuff about what's going on in the game while I'm playing it.
That's the only mission where that
happens.
happens.
Even after that, you never see that sword again.
Yeah.
You never...
Why don't you keep it? Why don't you keep using it?
It's the most...
sword. That's a powerful weapon.
No, sorry. The Hive say that this was the most... Or no, the Tower says this is the most powerful weapon the Hive ever wielded against us. So we broke it. We destroyed it. We didn't use it. What the heck? And then the freaking Stranger... Don't even get me started about the Stranger. And if you played the game, you know who the Stranger is. Or no, sorry, you don't know who the Stranger is because they don't tell you anything.
I know what she looks like.
I never sank deeper in my chair when playing the game than when she said, I don't even have time to explain.
Why I don't have time to explain.
I was like, whoever wrote that line needs to be publicly executed. Like, I don't even know of an example. There's not even an example of that. That's like the first time I was ever just like, you said what now? Do we get that in the DLC? Does she have time?
Does she have time?
The name of the DLC is She Has Time to Explain. And you sit in a coffee shop down in the city and talk about the things that she's been doing.
And then she has time to explain at the end, at the very end of the game, when she
would rather dematerialize.
Yeah.
That's what she would rather do.
She has time to explain.
But yeah, as far as the story goes, that's about it. I mean, they really do not flesh it out whatsoever. So, moving forward, we're gonna get talking about the gameplay, which is the best part of the game.
So, the gameplay's awesome.
It is pretty great.
Yeah. The controls are.
Yeah.
It feels like a next-gen game with the controls. Like, they're tight.
It's very smooth.
Yeah, and if it and my thing is we've never experienced a next-gen game. I guess you could say. So how do you know it's next-gen?
I mean,
it's more the verticality, I think, of the game. It's not just linear. Like with Call of Duty, you were just kind of shooting people on the same plane as you.
Yeah.
This it's like there's always multiple levels and different ways to go about doing things. To an extent, I mean, it gets repetitive. But that's a design aspect of the game. It's more like these guys are spawning in these areas. There's no variation, and as soon as you've done something once, you've done it 1,000 times. Completely, it's not randomized whatsoever. So it's really repetitive. I mean, when you do these story missions, which you have to do over and over again, you run into these really big issues, like the fact that these guys who were spawned here the last time are spawning there again. You know, and it's the freaking loot cave itself just wasn't an exploit. If you don't know what that is, it was basically an area where the respawn timers were about
13 seconds.
13 seconds. Every 13 seconds, high-level people would spawn, and you could just kill them and then get massive amounts of loot. That should never be in a game, especially a game where you have to grind to do stuff, and repetition is the name of the game. You shouldn't be able to exploit the game like that. I mean, it's stunning. The art department did their job and did it well.
On the moon.
The moon is the best. The moon is the best map. You really feel immersed. I mean, you look around and the Earth is like rotating.
Yeah.
And you look out and see the galaxy, and it's fantastic. It looks awesome. But the issue is, the second I saw all this stuff, I wanted to explore it, and I ran into brick wall or invisible wall after invisible wall after invisible wall.
The first time I was on Mars and I had my speeder bike, I saw this big sand dune. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. And then I go up it, and then I just fall backwards. I hit this wall. I'm like, what? That's all right.
They need to fix that now. You know, the gameplay, as solid as it is, kind of lends itself to be monotonous and repetitive and grindy, and it shouldn't be that. You know?
I sense a lack of choice with the game, especially as far as in the beginning where you're choosing what race you want to be.
Yeah.
It seems like they try to play them off as if they're all different, but they're actually kind of a different
character
rendition.
creation sucks.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if you pick Warlock, Titan, or Hunter.
It doesn't.
It'll always come down to you have a gun and that other guy has a gun, and you could have the exact same gun. It's the same.
And
being a different race
isn't
going to make you any better.
And I noticed armor rating did nothing.
You don't get any.
The amount of armor does
it.
nothing. It doesn't affect anything at all. You know, the skill tree is very cool early on, but it's just you realize how empty it is, and the skill trees for the guns, it's just empty. It's like, insight or increased damage.
I don't have any skills, but my guns do.
Yeah, well, you have your abilities that are cool, but it's just like, in the subclass unlocked at level 15 feels counterproductive.
Yeah.
It was like, I just got this guy leveled up, and now you're going to toss me this new thing that I'm going to have to grind for hours to do. To level up, in order to do those high-level strikes, in order to do those high-level raids, I have to make these adjustments, which they need to fix. It needs to be, I would rather grind 300 hours on a just slow incline of XP rather than have a random chance of finding armor with a light rating higher, because the loot is completely randomly generated. it does not matter what level you are. It does not matter what boss you are fighting. It is random. Like, I play grindy games. We played Diablo 3. Freaking, I don't even know. We put like 50 or 60 hours into it easily.
Yeah.
But all the things you're supposed to do in a grindy game, Destiny didn't do. There's not randomly generated strikes or dungeons like in Diablo. There's randomly generated dungeons. So even though it's the same dungeon, maybe it's a different camera angle, or enemies are spawning from different areas. So it gives you some variety. It feels different. Yeah. Loot comes from completely random places. You can hit a barrel and a freaking legendary drops out of it. Destiny, the loot containers give you glimmer, which is your currency, and usually materials of some sort. Never have I gotten an engram that was decent out of a chest, which just feels like a slap in the face.
It's almost no point in looking in the chest.
You know what you're going to get.
Yeah, you know exactly what you're going to get. There's no actual variety to it.
And they showed in the original trailer like this thing opening up and spurting out engrams. Did you see that? Like it just spurts out engrams. Like no, I've never seen that in the game once. Never. So it's just and we're gonna move now into the overall experience, which you've kind of been talking about. This is our first review, so bear with us. But the gameplay and the story and the overall experience are so like
intertwined.
Yes, it's hard to just say this is the story and this is how the game plays, and because there's just
our answers for each of those could answer each other.
Yeah, really. It's a very multifaceted question and answer system. So with the overall experience, though, I personally did not have a good time with the game. I felt cheated because, and I wanted to save the DLC conversation until the end, but the first thing that I was pitched when I purchased the game was DLC. And day one DLC, which is not available, but they wanted you to purchase it at $5 off, but with tax it was still like $39. Like, why would you do that? Like, GameStop, just please focus on the second half of your name, which is stop, because this pre-order and this frickin' DLC garbage that you're doing. I mean, I know you're making deals with corporations, and the corporations are just as much in it, the developers and whatnot, but it is seriously taxing on the consumer when you push out, I would say, half-finished product, or a game that's been maybe picked apart and said, what can we leave in and what can we put in DLC? Yeah. And there was recently a bug in the game that shows that all of the content for the DLC is on the disc. All you're paying for is access to it.
That already existed when the game.
Yes, it's there. You're just paying to get it.
Yeah.
It's like there's no real world examples where that exists. I've never once had that before, where I bought something and it's like, it's all there, but you need to pay for the key to unlock it. Like, oh, really? Awesome. So $100 investment is what they wanted us to make on a game we hadn't played before we ever bought it. Before the game was out, $100 is the commitment they wanted you to make.
That's one game. It's not one game and then all of its add-ons. You're just one game over time.
And there's been a lot of controversies that have affected the overall experience greatly. I mean, there was recently some, I think, a post on Twitter or something that the game that was released is not the game that was advertised 2 years ago during early testing. Yeah. There was a full storyline, there was full characters, there was immersion and different aspects of the game that they just got rid of. They said, we can do without this, and the general consumer will overlook these details. Unfortunately for them, the hardcore gamers exist, and we notice those things. Yeah. Because when you play a game that is half-finished, you feel half-empty about it. And you with our gamers like us, we just know that the game is not up to par. And the overall experience for me, I mean, I played with my friends, which was awesome. Solo play is unbearable. You can't do it. Past level 20, I could not play by myself, even multiplayer. And the patches, you can talk, you can chat multiplayer now, but you can't trade. Yeah. Oh, it's a social game, but you can't be social. It literally forces you to maybe hang out with 2 of your friends and go do stuff in a vacuum. So the large glaring issues that we have are just easy fixes through patches. Make trading available. Have some randomized strike missions. Have the enemies come from different areas. You know, just little things. I would easily pick up the game if they just fix the loot system, which is cool.
Yeah, they did fix that.
They fixed the engram system, which is cool. They fixed multiplayer chat. All you need to do now, trading, and spice it up a little bit. You know, I know these
make it different.
Exactly, these queen bounties and stuff. I did that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
One of them is go kill Sepix Prime, who is a boss at the end of a strike mission, who I've already killed 7 times. Yeah. It's like, oh, great. Now I get to do that again. You know, and the reputation system and all these caps make it about if I play the game a lot, I will have a lot of good stuff
to show for it.
I will be high level. Don't make it random. I don't want my experience. I didn't pay to go to Las Vegas. Yeah. You know, if I wanted to roll the dice, I would have taken my $60 and played it on a hand of blackjack. I don't want that to be my gaming experience. So, you know, it might seem like I'm overwhelmingly negative about the game. I'm just being critical of it. And this is the issues that I have and that a lot of gamers are having. And Bungie and Activision need to hear this because it's not acceptable. Bottom line is, you can't just dish out a product that's picked apart and ship out other parts of the game later on. I mean, when does the DLC come out? Like
December.
So yeah, how many months?
11th,
a couple months after launch.
Yeah.
It's not like it wasn't done.
No, it's done.
It's on the disc.
The first and second ones are both done. They're obviously done. They just picked them out of the original game.
Yeah.
Really, what I think is the most disappointing part about it is that this is a game that was anticipated for a really long time. I mean, this was talked up so much.
That was probably the biggest disappointment for me. We were talking earlier.
That's part of what does it.
I followed this game for a year and a half. I saw it at E3
2012?
Yeah, 2012 or 2013. I saw it at E3 and it was just like hinting at it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know all this stuff. It was just like the opening cinematic and I'm just like, this game's going to be serious. Yeah. This game's going to be serious. And, you know, I got all my friends behind it. You know, I single-handedly...
You show me the first trailer.
I single-handedly brought about 8 to 10 people to the game.
You showed me the first trailer where they're in the wall or whatever, and the warlock just goes up and...
Yeah, it destroys the devil walker.
Yeah, I'm just like... Dude, this is gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, and
this game looks sweet.
I made Bungie about $600 because I just was like, guys, we all have to get this game, and we all have to play it together. But at the end of the day, I mean, I feel cheated. I don't know if I played too much at one time in one sitting, but I still hop on there and I still have the same issues. Yeah. I'm shooting things. I'm just like, oh great, this again. You know, it's just like there's not enough going on in the game. It doesn't feel like they're making adjustments and making... I mean, some of the patches they've done, it feels a little better. It feels fair now. It's like this is fair and this is where we were and now we're like inching towards it. Now we need to move into the good territory. But overall, I think we can all have our different ratings.
Yeah. Sure.
I say wait until they patch the shit out of it. Wait until all the DLC is out. Wait until you can buy the Destiny Super Platinum Collector's Edition with everything on it. Absolutely. And that's when you should buy the game for like $60. Then. Do not spend $100 on it now because it's not worth it at all. Because they're still, as far as I'm concerned, this is like their, like, I don't even know what to call it, their Omega test.
Yeah.
They're past alpha and beta. This is their Omega testing, and this is where they need to fix the game. Where, you know, because what we had in the beta is no different to what we have now, so they need to do beta plus testing.
I liked it more than he did. The overall gameplay of it, I really liked. I liked the graphics a lot. At first, I didn't like the patrol at all, but it's starting to grow on me. Again, the story is empty. The story is very empty. If they fix that, I'll be very happy. But overall, I'd like it. I do like it.
So would you say?
I don't buy it now. Wait until you have the story. Wait until you have the full game.
Yeah.
Don't buy a game that's half made for $100. I would agree in waiting.
Absolutely.
I would definitely agree.
Do we all agree that we wait?
You buy it, but wait. I'd say it's a great game. Just wait to buy it.
I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest things to be absorbed from this is that if you're looking for a game that you want to spend hours on by yourself in an amazing story with tons of quests and stuff to do, this isn't that game. You want to get this if you and your friends are going to play together, because after level 20, the story it's not really anything, and it wasn't really anything before that. It wasn't anything impressive. You don't pick it up at GameStop and be like, dude, this is going to have the best story. No, you say this is going to have some great gameplay that I can share with my friends.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would not get it now. If you want to get it now, if you and your friends want to get it now, and I'll play it together, absolutely. But otherwise, if you're looking for the full experience, just wait.
And that's our take on it. We want to hear yours, and we want to get a conversation started about it. What did you think? Are we completely wrong? Go ahead and troll us. But while you're doing that, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Twitter at TalkCouch. Totally.
Like the video.
Like, comment. Let's get a conversation started. And follow us on Twitter at TalkCouch. Check us out on Twitch. We live stream on twitch.tv/couch_talk. And we live stream every Friday. We try to, or I'll just do it randomly. Our next review coming up is going to be on Shadow of Mordor, and we'll be pumping that out as soon as we have the time to do so. But thank you all for watching.
And remember, join the couch.
Join the couch.